of the box, finding new ideas, turning things on their head. That is what innovators do, and what we present to you here each week. Have you ever seen vertical lakes? Well, if not, you will in a minute. Just stay tuned. Welcome to Echo Africa. I'm Malama Mukonde in Lusaka, Zambia, and here's my co-host, Chris Elens.
Hello to all of you. Warm greetings from Lagos, Nigeria, and this is what we have coming up for you.
Why the noni tree is so special. One woman's tireless campaign to protect penguins. And how an English city is making the most of parking lots.
In Lagos and many other African cities, lots of people live in skyscrapers. It's a cost-effective use of resources. Now inventors in Kenya have come up with the idea of high-rise fish farms, a unique and sustainable project especially designed for regions with little rainfall.
A high-rise for fish. About 10,000 tilapia live in the 8 vertical tanks. The youngest ones live on the very top story. The older ones live lower down where they can be easily fished out. Jack Oyugi came up with the idea of building a vertical fish farm in Ongata Rongai, southwest of Nairobi, and already has lots of local customers. It was a risky venture. Many small fish farms have already gone bust in this arid region.
When I came here and I decided to do my vertical aquaculture systems here, people are asking the same questions. Are you able to succeed? I even went around and talked to people that had tried before, just like having fish ponds around, and I realized that almost like 100% of those fish ponds had dried up because of lack of water.
To make sure his tanks didn't dry out, he took his cues from nature. The system is designed to mimic how a natural lake works, right down to aeration and algae formation, with towers of interconnected tanks. Water flows through biofiltration and recycling systems, creating a closed-loop aquatic environment.
So we understood how the lake operates. For example, you will find that the lake itself has what we call a cleaning mechanism, whereby all wastes are removed through how the lake operates, and also digested by microorganisms. So we were now asking ourselves, why can we replicate what's happening outside the lake to where we need it?
Jack Oyugi is revolutionizing fish farming in arid areas. His farm runs off solar power and recycles up to 95% of the water. Plus, fish waste is collected at the bottom of the tanks and is then converted into biofertilizer. That's the most lucrative part of the entire operation.
Besides the fish, we wanted to make farming more sustainable, and the cost of feeds was the most expensive expense we had. So for us to be able to make our farming sustainable, we decided to add value to the fish biowaste that we were collecting from the system.
Some Kenyan farmers, like Robert Rengera, have switched back to organic fertilizers over concerns that synthetic ones could harm the soil in the long run. Wendy Cynthia regularly visits farmers in Meru who are using their organic fertilizer.
The organic fertilizer is a bit costly, but it has a lot of benefits. It gives us farmers the hope of a good harvest, and that is beneficial for us.
Farmers often turn to aquaculture for a second stream of income. In Kenya, the demand for fish is high. According to a 2024 report by Kenya Fisheries Service, the country produced well under half of the country's projected demand of 510,000 metric tons of fish a year. But experts believe Kenya can move towards self-sufficiency in fish production, and that could be vital.
Fish can play a very important role in enhancing food security, especially in those areas, arid and semi-arid areas. This is by providing resilient source of nutritious food, income and livelihoods, where conventional agriculture is limited by water scarcity and harsh climatic conditions in Kenya.
In places like this, farmers have to be innovative to be able to fish farm at all. 160 kilometres from Nairobi in eastern Kenya, Joel Nambuki started off growing mangoes at his farm in Wote, Makueni County. Now he also supplies young fish, or fingerlings, to fish farmers across Kenya. The area is not connected to the national power grid, and the dry climate poses challenges because of seasonal water scarcity, so the farmer built big water ponds.
The farm dam is able to hold million liters. That is able to sustain us from one season to the next season of rain. Basically because in Ukambani or this part we always have 2 seasons.
The water in the fish ponds gets recycled to conserve it. It's pumped into other tanks with solar energy and then cleaned with the help of microorganisms.
Makueni is arid and semi-arid area. So our farmers, sometimes when they were using the earth ponds, we realized farmers are using a lot of water to produce fish. Then it later came the idea of the recirculation aquaculture system.
With its recycling system, the farm is able to produce about 300,000 fingerlings a year. And every 3 to 4 months, the wastewater from the ponds is diverted into the organic garden nearby, fertilizing it with nutrients. Sustainable pond farming and vertical farming. These 2 innovations are reshaping fish farming and the entire agricultural sector in Kenya's driest regions.
When I met Jack, the innovator, the guy behind the vertical lake fish setup, him being able to produce around 10,000 fish on a very small piece of land, it is sort of, I learned so much that with the right innovation, with the right mindset, there are so many possibilities, and he told me that if I wanted to have a similar setup, for home consumption, where I could raise maybe 200 or 300 fish, I could get the same setup for less than $500, where I could even use minimal water. I don't need to have a huge lake or dam like this one. So it was very inspiring for me.
Have you ever heard of the noni tree? It doesn't look anything special really, but it has some superpowers. It bears fruit all year round and it has a range of therapeutic applications and nutritional benefits. The DYB of this week comes from Mali.
The trees in Safura Osman Sisse's field are still quite small, but she is already harvesting the first fruits. The noni tree grows quickly and can reach a height of 6 meters. It's actually native to Southeast Asia, but Safura Sisse was so impressed by its qualities that she set up a 2-hectare plantation in Zegou, north of Mali's capital, Bamako.
The
noni is a tree that causes no problems at all, and it bears fruit 12 months of the year, so we can harvest fruit almost every week or every fortnight. Safura Sisse works with drip irrigation. The trees actually need very little water, making them perfect for Mali's dry, hot climate, and the irrigation is solar-powered. Noni fruits are rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. They are used in traditional medicine and are said to have anti-inflammatory properties. They are also thought to lower blood pressure and strengthen the immune system. But beyond the health benefits, Safura Sisse has a bigger dream. I want to help fight climate change and create jobs for myself and others. Growing noni helps to protect the climate because the tree has a high capacity to absorb carbon. Staff at her small company press the fruit by hand. The juice is then pasteurized and bottled. No chemicals are used, either during cultivation or processing. Everything is completely natural. The market is still small. Noni is not yet very well known in Mali. Safura Sisse is looking to change that. And at some point, she hopes to expand her business to neighboring countries so that Mali won't be the only place to benefit.
Across Africa, policymakers often don't pay enough attention to environmental issues. But in Uganda, we are seeing how giving people a formal platform to raise concerns and push for action is slowly starting to change the game. New specialized institutions are making it easier for people and government to work together. So the question now is, will they deliver real change?
The opening ceremony of a parliamentary session in Kampala. But it's not a normal kind. Activists, academics, community leaders and entrepreneurs are gathering for the third annual Environment Parliament in Uganda. While this town hall forum cannot pass laws, it can prompt those who do and hold them to account. Speaker Belinda Ramanya wants it to spark change.
Climate action needs a multidisciplinary action. Regardless of your professional background, regardless of the sector you're in, you could be saying, I am in the informal sector, how do I come into play? Each one of us is the key player, regardless of being young or old. But it is a case for each one of you to think and develop innovative solutions.
One of the attendees who is doing exactly that is Martha Akori, a student and social entrepreneur. She lives in Chireka, one of Kampala's most crowded suburbs. Trash lies around everywhere here. It is an eyesore and also causes many problems for residents. That's why she started a business that makes slippers and sandals using recycled materials.
From this post of single-use plastic bag, we can actually get this fabric, which fabric we can cut according to measurements to make a shoe. And this saves like 20 square feet of land from plastic pollution.
For Martha and her shoemaker, recycling creates an income. She wants her business to be an example of how rubbish can be reused in many ways. But Uganda produces 600,000 tons of waste every year, and only a fraction is recycled. Most of it goes to landfills, many in the middle of residential areas. The Chitezi landfill north of Kampala is no longer in active use. Toxic runoff seeps into water and soil, a danger to thousands. Last year, heavy rains also triggered a collapse that buried several homes. More than 50 people died, among them a 3-month-old baby and 2 of Martha's friends. The Environment Parliament called the incident one of the worst environmental disasters in Uganda's recent history. Local politicians and officials were called to account. Martha believes that simple, sustainable solutions and a focus on recycling could stop this happening again.
We have talent within us and we can fix the situation. That it's not just writing on paper, but we can do and walk the talk.
Uganda already has an environment police, a wildlife court, and other specialized bodies like the Uganda Wildlife Authority. There are also institutions designed to strengthen environmental governance and conservation. They have helped protect endangered species like mountain gorillas and elephants. But despite all these efforts, the country has lost half its forests in just 4 decades. Deforestation fuels global warming, releasing millions of CO2. 3 million hectares, approximately the size of Lesotho, swallowed up by logging and farming. In 2023, a government index ranked the environment sector among the most corrupt, with losses exceeding $700 million a year. A topic that is also addressed during the session, along with exploitation of natural resources. It's a significant source of income for the country, but one that comes at the cost of the environment. Some dare to ask where this money actually ends up.
Of course, we keep saying that the environment sector is underfunded. But the question is, how are we using what we call the meager resources? Are they managed very well?
The Environment Parliament raises issues often ignored in the main parliament. But after attending, Martha has mixed feelings.
With the discussion today, I realized the presentations were majorly theoretical. We have seen year over year, this is the 3rd time we're having the Environmental Parliament. And I'm like, really, can't we come up with more practical things now and support people that are into innovation?
But Martha hopes that if leaders listen to people's concerns more in forums like these, Uganda will experience real change.
Let's head to Europe now. In densely populated European cities, building land is in short supply, while parking lots eat up a lot of space. A contradiction? Well, it doesn't have to be. In the English town of Bristol, city planners have found a way of meeting both needs in an eco-friendly and affordable way.
Underused car parks, concrete land covering vast areas. Could they hold the key to climate-friendly affordable housing? We're in Bristol in the southwest of the UK. The city's population has grown by roughly 10% in the past decade. Space is hard to come by. An average rent costs around £1,500.
I don't think we could still live in Bristol at this point if we weren't living in here. Because I think the size of place we'd need and the rents that are kind of asked for that, I just don't think we could do at all.
Sam Jones and her little family live in a special place. Above a car park, not too far from Bristol's city centre, in a so-called Z-Pod. The couple pay roughly £500 per month. Unlike older social housing, they have heat pumps, solar panels, and also triple glazing for proper insulation.
I guess in terms of the house, yeah, it's very warm in winter, and it's mostly cool in the summer. It's been pretty cool, you know. It's been really heat waves recently, but there's definitely been some times where you open the door and it's just like, yeah, it's really cool in here. You know, that's really nice.
The Z-Pods don't take up extra space. They rethink architecture in dense urban areas and cut emissions. Roughly 37% of CO2 emissions are linked to construction. Around 100 modular homes like this have been built across the UK in collaboration with local councils, and they are needed. The cost of living and the lack of affordable housing puts many people at risk. In England alone, homelessness rose by 14% between 2023 and 2024. The demand for affordable housing is huge. Construction companies are busier than ever. This is where the Z-Pods are built, at a factory in Peterborough, off-site. That reduces disruption in local neighbourhoods. Jason Bassett has always worked in construction, but building the Z-Pods is something different for him.
When we do work on building sites, as I've done in the past, the wastage ratios were very high. We used to typically have 25% of the waste going into skips and then going to landfill, which was really heartbreaking. The great thing about the products we choose is that we can upcycle or recycle those products 100% through the factory.
All the packaging goes back to the producers to reuse. Remnants of sustainable rock wool insulation are recycled into a new batch. Careful planning minimizes waste. Vehicles here are electric to reduce the carbon footprint, although a lot of the work relies on real manpower, not machines. Each unit takes 16 days to complete before being delivered. But there's something else that sets this place apart. Of the 48 staff, 30% are or were prisoners. They have been trained at the factory and can work here upon release. It keeps reoffending rates lower. Craig Smith is out of prison now. This job gives him prospects and self-esteem.
Oh, it's great, positivity around, especially with mental health and things like that, after being released from prison, day-to-day tasks is a lot harder. But now, the future's brighter.
Yet there is a lack of skilled workers. London-based structural engineer Konstantinos Tsavdaridis works and researches in the field of modular construction. He sees it as a faster, greener alternative, but not enough alone to solve the UK's housing crisis, which needs 300,000 new homes a year.
Modular is one of the best ways, the best bets that we have at the moment. The issue, I would say, with modular is that we cannot build to that fast pace that we need to, because we don't have the capacity of the manufacturing capacity.
But he believes that will change. Back to Bristol, where there were once old garages, now there are 12 new homes in the south of the city. Although the housing crisis is not going away anytime soon, it's innovations like this that can pave the way for climate-friendlier buildings while giving some the ability to plan their future.
Penguins are an endangered species in South Africa. We met up with a young marine conservationist who is using social media to get the public involved in her seabird protection and rescue work. She's proven that Instagram is not just for scrolling, it's a great way to raise awareness and make a difference.
Cape Town's V&A waterfront draws thousands of visitors every year. It also attracts lots of wildlife like these seals. A team from the Two Oceans Aquarium ensures that humans and animals don't get in each other's way in the harbour. Conservationist Martine Viljoen heads up the team, who share their work and rescue efforts on social media. They disentangle seals from fishing lines and other plastic debris and rescue sunfish and other species that get into difficulty in the harbour.
The beautiful thing about social media is that it has that power to bring change and impact further than just posting in that moment. It's that post lives on and it keeps telling that story. So it's phenomenal seeing people reaching out and asking, how can I get involved in this work? Because when I was younger, there was no one to ask.
Posting about their work on social media helps thousands of people to learn about protecting marine wildlife and seabirds. One group of birds, and one unique species in particular, holds a special place in Martine's heart: the iconic and critically endangered African penguin, which is facing an increasing number of challenges.
One of the greatest issues we have is the lack of food availability, so they just aren't finding enough food out of the wild. Issues such as climate change has also had a huge impact on their population numbers. And of course, just climate-related events and maritime activities, also a big problem.
Hi, my name is Martine Viljoen and I'm a marine conservationist in Cape Town with an absolute passion for penguins.
For over a decade, Martine has dedicated her work to the conservation of seabirds and penguins. Whether it's studying them in the field or volunteering to feed and rehabilitate them, she's used her growing social media platform to educate people, especially about African penguins, as they were declared critically endangered in 2024, just one step away from extinction, a fact that many people seem to have missed.
It's been incredible being able to share those stories with people, especially when they're listed to being endangered. A lot of people were commenting they had no idea they were endangered. They had no awareness around the status of the African penguin. They had no awareness around the issues they were facing. So I think that was very impactful to reach people that didn't know about it. But it was a surprise that people didn't know. So it's a great opportunity to learn what the public are seeing and engage with a different audience.
Martine's love of penguins launched another creative initiative a few years ago: designer penguin socks. They're manufactured locally by women in Cape Town, with some of the profit going directly to the South African Foundation for the Conservation of Coastal Birds, or SANCCOB.
I wanted to give back more in a different way. And I had a love for unusual socks, could never find the perfect penguin sock, so decided to create my own and give back to SANCCOB.
Outside working hours, Martine still finds time to appreciate the marine wildlife she cares about so much, both in the aquarium and in their natural habitat. She believes her outreach work will inspire a new generation of conservationists, helping to ensure that the marine ecosystem around the Western Cape remains a safe haven for seabirds and marine life.
I hope that more people are realizing, having access to social media and being exposed to so many different conservation issues that are facing them, that hopefully these people are driven to themselves put their voice forwards for those animals, that more people will realize you don't have to just get a degree in conservation to help the animals.
Amazing. I always admire people who give their heart and soul to environmental causes. And that's it for today. It's goodbye from me, Chris Elems in Lagos, Nigeria. See you next week.
And goodbye from me too. It's Malama Mukonde in Lusaka, Zambia. Now don't forget to check out our social media channels or our website, and do write to us at echo@dw.com. We love to hear from you, so see you next week.